The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. A demoniac who could not speak was brought to Jesus, and when the demon was driven out, the mute man spoke. The crowds were amazed and said, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "He drives out demons by the prince of demons." Jesus went around to all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them, because they were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord. Do you consider yourself a Christian leader? Often we think a leader has to be somebody with a title, or a Christian leader has to be somebody who's lived their life practically perfectly. But we're reminded in both scriptures today that every one of us, as followers of Jesus Christ, are called to lead. Lead in the sense of being influence, hopefully a positive and good influence on others. We see in that first reading, Hosea is lamenting and God speaking through him because the kings that they had created, the princes that were part of the territory, they weren't people that God chose. They were people who rose up in all kinds of ways, even through espionage and treason and that. But the point being, God wanted to raise up leaders who listened to the will of God and who weren't about serving themselves, but serving the people. And in the gospel, we see Jesus again. As we've heard him say before, his heart was moved with pity because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. They didn't have the kind of leadership that genuinely cared about them and the leadership that had authentic faith and followed that way. I want to use an example. It may seem unusual because it's not in our own faith, but the image that maybe can speak to us like Jesus often used images. And of course, I'm sure all of us have been paying attention to what happened in Thailand with the children there, and recognizing that they needed a leader, and they had their soccer coach. And of course, they got stuck in that cave. There was a flash flood that came, and when they finally, after 11 days, when people saw them for the first time, and they saw people, they were struck at how the young people weren't so anxious. They had a certain peace about them, which seemed kind of surprising because they didn't even know if they were going to get rescued. And what came out was their soccer coach was somebody who during that whole time was teaching them how to meditate, and within their faith tradition was emphasizing to them the divine presence within them and the call to trust that and to hope. And so, and many people said about this guy that he just had a genuine love for the people. And even now, if he's going to come out, he'll be the last one who comes out. But a powerful way that we could see what it means to be a shepherd, that he was indeed a shepherd for those young people. And a reminder that especially for us as Christians, we're called to be those kind of compassionate, caring, competent shepherds, each in our own day, in our own way, because every day we have a situation that we can influence others and genuinely care and lift them up, or be indifferent and not really help them become what they're meant to be. So today, that image of the shepherd and that fellow, and the ultimate image of the shepherd in Jesus Christ, who walks with all of us through all our treacherous journeys and is always there to give us an inner peace and inner strength to go on, even if we're not sure where the future lies. Take that quiet moment to appreciate our shepherd and to be one. God bless.